light. Shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, we up. We up. Most High in Christ. All right, we clear. Y'all by Shimei Rashad Barakatham. Y'all Shamal Athar by Shimei Rashad. To the sisters, y'all by Shimei Rashad Barakatham. To the brothers, we're going to get started in just a moment. All right. Let me know if y'all can hear. Might give me a one. We're going to get up in just a moment. Let me know if y'all can hear. All right. All right, Most High in Christ. Con. All right, got you. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me nice and clear. Well, for sure, just let me know. Most High in Christ. Okay, sis, I got you there. We getting ready to go up here. Facebook. We're going to get up in just a moment. All right. All right, Most High in Christ. Y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me. Good. All right. Good. We live. Okay, we up on Facebook. Shalom. Y'all about Shimei Rashad Barakatham. Y'all Shamal Athar about Shimei Rashad. To the sisters. All right. We looking good. We up here. We up on Facebook. We up on Most High in Christ. All right. Come. Of course, tonight is the I.S.U.P.K biblical law class. All I.S.U.P.K schools throughout the nation, everywhere on the entire planet Earth. I.S.U.P.K law. All right. We're going to go ahead and get started just a little bit. Let me know if y'all got any questions. Any questions online, just type them in. Be able to get to them there. All right. Most High in Christ, everybody sign in name, city, state for attendance. Okay, Con, we're just going to give everybody a minute. Just coming off of that great and glorious, the Lord's 52nd annual Passover in Houston, Texas, man. Shout out to Captain Yatazak, that Texas crew, man. Officer Shapat, Officer Malak Wive, Officer Gobble War. You understand? Officer Tazadat, Officer Shapar Napash, whipping the chariots, you understand, of that transportation department, man. You understand? A great and glorious time keeping the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments. The Lord's law, statutes, and commandments, which will save our people's lives, man. That's what our people need to stay alive. Everybody just sign in, name, city, and state for attendance. All right, we just going to give it just a few more moments. Everybody can hear me clear. Most High in Christ says, okay. All right. I got you. All right. So we're going to get to an important law. You understand? We're going to start off with a law that's extremely important. All right. In just a second, we're going to get to this law. We're going to go to Deuteronomy, the 18th chapter. All right. Deuteronomy, the 18th chapter. All right. Deuteronomy, we're going to go to the 18th chapter. It's a very important law. Very, very important law that every Christian, every fake Israelite for sure, but for sure every Christian completely overlooks this law. This law is literally can be the difference between life and death. You understand? Between our people. And we don't understand what the Lord requires in order for us to come underneath of his protection. All right. Everybody just sign in for city and state. All right. For your attendance. The Lord's protection, as we seeing the police shot yet another brother, not one brother, not two brothers, not three brothers, but about four brothers since the last class we had. More brothers than gotten shot. They shot a brother in Spotsylvania County in Virginia. They lied about it, refused to release the footage. They murdered a brother in North Carolina. Of course, they lied about it. Come to find out, the family did an independent autopsy on the brother's body. I forget the brother's name, Junior in North Carolina, did an independent autopsy and found out that he got shot in the back of the head. You understand? That was the actual blow that ended up ultimately taking this brother's life. He got shot in the back of the head. Of course, the police shot him in the back of the head. Of course, they lied, said, make up all kind of different excuses, trying to justify themselves, man. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 18. As a matter of fact, let me use this. Let's see, blue. Like, y'all can give me just a moment. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 18. We're going to start at verse 15. Deuteronomy 18 and 15. We're going to go there. This is one of the most important laws that are overlooked in the Bible. There, for those of you, Shalom, brother, for those of you may not realize, may never heard this before, there are more than 10 commandments. Pretty much the only commandment that most people hear is, you know, thou shalt not steal, lie, and murder. Paying tithes is one of the commandments. However, we're going to get into the law about paying tithes so that you can get a better understanding of what the Bible is talking about. All of these laws are to shape and frame how our nation is supposed to function. And when these laws are not followed, the level of protection that the Lord has built into the laws is our culture. This level of protection is forfeited when we do not obey the Most High. All right. So we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 18. We're going to go to verse 15. All right. Contrary to what we've been taught our entire lives, you are not supposed to just make up life as you go. If you are Black, Hispanic, and Native American, you are not allowed to just choose whatever philosophy, whatever customs, whatever gods, you know, whatever best suits you. We are not allowed to do that. You understand? The Lord has made our people in such a specific way that we have rules that we have to follow. There are laws that we have to live by. These things are not negotiable. These are not things that we can decide if we want to do it or not. These are not things that we can decide if it fits our lifestyle and what we like. The Lord don't give a damn about any of that. None of that means anything to the Lord, man. These laws, statutes, and commandments are literal orders that the Lord has set up that we are obligated to follow. And when we choose not to follow them, the Lord punishes our people, hurts our people, man. Let me know if y'all can hear me on Facebook. Y'all give me a 1, give me a something. Let me know if y'all can hear me clearly on Facebook, all right? I see I'm coming in good on YouTube, all right? So we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 15. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 15. It's an extremely important law about who you are supposed to follow. Like, because of the Christian church, because of slavery, because of us integrating, any and everybody can call themselves a leader of Black people. You got Muslim leaders, you got Christian leaders, political leaders. You understand? You got your Kemet world leaders, your Dr. Yorks, your Malcolm X was able to become a leader. Martin Luther King was able to become a leader. Huey P. Newton and the Panthers were able to become leaders, man. Scientology is taking root in the black community. Any and everybody's way of life and philosophy is allowed to come in and sway our people. That's why the Lord called us sheep. We are the lost sheep of the house of Israel, because as a people, we will follow any and everyone, which is why this law is so very important, why I'm going to pull it up here. Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 15 says, the Lord thy God. Now remember, thy it means ownership. It means something that belongs to someone, like it's your house, your car, your money, your wife, your children. This is the Lord thy God, meaning this is the God of Israel. Our people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, meaning the Lord is going to raise up a prophet from the midst of us, meaning of thy brethren, meaning there's going to be a prophet. Prophet is a man who the Lord deals with. He speaks to him, tells them the future, tells them what's the proper way that the people should go, gives instructions about fixing everything. The reason why we have these problems with our families, with our marriages, our relationships, our children, we getting killed and murdered at traffic stops, we millions in jail, we full of all kind of diseases and sicknesses, strung out on drugs, you understand? We don't know how to deal and function with each other. You understand? It isn't a Donald Trump problem. It isn't an America problem. If you go to Brazil, brothers and sisters of the tribe of Asher are having this exact same issues there. If you go to Puerto Rico, Haiti, Mexico, the Dominican Republic, if you go to Canada, if you go to El Salvador, if you go to Chile, if you go to Venezuela or Trinidad or Jamaica or Barbados, our people, or the UK or the Netherlands, our people are having these exact same problems because the rules that the Lord set up are to govern all of our people everywhere we are on the planet. Everybody watching, y'all get this video a thumbs up. Y'all get this video a like, share this video. People in these classes, man, we want to grow this school. We want to grow these classes. We want to make sure that brothers and sisters, that your sons and daughters and nieces and nephews are not the next black man to get shot 10 times at a traffic stop by some racist oppressor with a gun and a badge, who's going to lie and say she didn't know the difference between her big yellow taser and her 5 or 6 pound Glock 9mm with 18 bullets in it. So that your brother and sister or your son and mother and father don't end up gunned down by Spotsylvania police on a damn ventilator. Or when they drive through Williamsburg, Virginia, end up getting racially profiled and stopped and ticketed like they did in 2019. Like, you understand? Y'all support this truth. Build it up, make it grand, you understand? So the Lord said, the Lord thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, like unto me. Who's saying this at this time is Moses. Moses was a Levite brother, a so-called Haitian if he was alive today, meaning this is a black man, meaning the Lord is going to raise up a black man. You understand? Like unto him shall ye hearken, meaning the Lord is going to raise up a leader. And the leader that the Lord raises up is the one that everybody is supposed to follow. Everyone in Virginia, everyone in Norfolk, every black, Hispanic, and Native American on a reservation in Arizona, in Texas, in Mexico, in Central South America, the UK, Europe. If you go over to Vietnam or China and you end up living there, everywhere our people are, we are supposed to keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. The rules that the Lord set up are the reason why the Chinese are represented as a people. In America, they are represented and respected as Chinese. In Africa, they are represented and respected as Chinese. Even if they are born in these places, the land of their forefathers and the reputation of their people makes them a respectable people. It's the same with any people, any race, any culture, except for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are not a respectable people because we have all chosen to follow our own leadership. That's where that disgusting personal salvation comes from. You get a personal Lord and Savior, a personal salvation is a disgusting thing, man. It teaches our people to be selfish and not care about the lives of the rest of our brothers and sisters, not care about how the rest of our people are suffering, and not care about the effects that our actions are going to have on the rest of our nation. Christianity teaches that, and we're going to get into that later on. We're going to try to hit as many of these scriptures as possible. Now we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 18. You understand? It says, hold up. As a matter of fact, we're going to get the rest of this. This is very important history for our people to understand and learn. Again, everybody sign in for attendance. I see it's 5 people live. I got 2 for attendance. Sign in your name, city, and state for attendance. All right. Deuteronomy 18 verse 16 says, according to all that thou desirest of the Lord thy God, of the Most High thy power, in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of the Lord my God, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. For those of y'all that do not know, everybody talking about this personal relationship with God, I deal with God directly. That's a lie. That comes from Satan. That's an evil, greedy, wicked, selfish Christian. You understand? Damn right. The water cap is an evil concept. The concept is so evil that it literally teaches our people to not care about anyone else. Personal salvation is what makes everybody cover up the uncle that is molesting everyone. Eddie Long was able to rape 5 boys in that Newburgh Baptist Church and more that have yet to come forward because everyone has personal salvation. And because everybody has personal salvation, your problems, we don't need to deal with any problems. We don't need to fight for any justice. We're just trying to wait and bide our time out so that we can go and die and be the best slaves that we are, never have any conflict, never have any issues, never face any problems, unless it is to face conflict and problems to love our oppressors. When it comes to loving the white man, our people will willingly face conflict. We'll face conflict in his military. We'll go fight his wars. We'll go sell his drugs. We'll go and march and beg to integrate so that we can give all of our money away. We will go out of our way to hug racist white murderers like Amber Geiger, who killed our brother, Botham Jean, in his own apartment. She executed them. They went out of their way to stroke her hair. The judge got off the bench and gave her a hug to a convicted murderer. The family stroked her hair. They gave her a hug, told her how much they loved her. We don't have a problem going out of our way to go into conflict when it involves loving our oppressor. We do have a problem when it involves going into conflict, when it involves obeying God and fighting for our people. Understand this very clearly. Those Black Lives Matter marches, those civil rights protests, those We Shall Overcome, those candlelight visuals, the riots they had in Washington and Minnesota and Watts and Washington, D.C. They set Baltimore on fire. Black people have frustrations and things, but that is not fighting to fix our people. Your vote will not fix our people. Your tears, your church services, your candlelight visuals, your murals painted on the wall, your rest in peace t-shirts, your RIP tattoos, none of that will fix our people. We've already done all of that for decades. You went out and voted against the Lord's orders. Our people went out and voted and put Obama in office, which is the reason why you see an increase in violence against Blacks and Hispanics, even more so after Obama is in office. That is why America put Donald Trump in office, because he was openly saying how America was feeling as a response to you disobeying the Lord and choosing your own leaders. You understand? The aunts, the mothers, the grandmothers, this all ties back into everybody following whoever they want having their own personal salvation, their own personal beliefs on what is right is wrong. That is why we get killed at traffic stops. It may not seem like it's connected, but God is not protecting our people because we are not following who he appointed to lead us. All right, we're going to get some more. Deuteronomy chapters 18 and verse 17. And the Lord said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. So the Lord came down. There was an opportunity for everyone to deal with the Lord face to face. The Lord came down on a mountain, and it was absolutely terrifying. It was fire, it was smoke, thunder, lightning, trumpets, a volcano erupted when the Most High's presence came down to deal with the children of Israel all at once. Our people were absolutely terrified, and they decided to have Moses speak to the Lord, and they obey Moses. Our people decided this from the very beginning. The Lord, of course, honored it, appointed Moses, and now our forefathers chose to deal with Moses as opposed to dealing with the Most High directly. We will get that thunder. All right. Bear with me just a moment. We pull that. Lightning. We're going to get that scripture. Let's see. Lightning. See, Trump. Bear with me just a moment. Let me see if I can get that smoke. All right. So real quick, we're going to go to Exodus chapter 19. We're going to go to Exodus chapter 19, verse 18, just so that y'all can see that. The Lord came down on Mount Sinai. All right. As a matter of fact, we're going to go to Exodus chapter. Bear with me just a moment. We're going to go to Exodus chapter 19 and verse 11. This is Moses talking to the children of Israel. The Lord, the Most High himself, is going to come down and speak to the children of Israel directly as opposed to just speaking to Moses. You understand? Just to show you that personal relationship, I deal with God directly myself, that's nonsense. It was tried one time. Our people disapproved. They did not want to deal with the Lord directly, and it was settled from that point that the Lord would always speak to one man, and he would give the instructions on what to do. Today, that man is Commanding General Yahanna, meaning if you are a Navajo, if you are Cheyenne, a Arapaho, a Chickasaw, a Cherokee, if you are an El Salvadorian, if you are Mexican, a Peruvian, a Guatemalan, an El Salvadorian, a Honduran, you are ordered by God. You are supposed to follow and obey Commanding General Yahanna. If you are a so-called Negro, Haitian, West Indian, Afro-Latino, if you are native from the Amazon, a Taino, an Arawak, you understand, a Carib, you a descendant, any of those people, you are required by God to obey Commanding General Yahanna. If you do not, this is when we get killed at traffic stops. This is when we die, number one, of AIDS, high blood pressure, diabetes, strokes, gouts, cancer, drug overdoses. We become 2 million in prison. The Lord has always set a man in charge of our nation, not a woman, not a mommy, not men, not the leadership, not multiple leaders, not we all believe our own way, not you have your beliefs, I have mine. The Lord never set that up. That's how you get killed. That's how you get your sons and daughters killed. That's how you set up for the devil to come in and tell your son to pretend to be a woman so that he can die of AIDS as a teenager. That's how it's set up, so that he can die of a drug overdose at 20 years old like Juice WRLD. There are very strict laws and rules in the Bible that you can only learn how to be raised up properly by obeying the prophet that the Lord set up, which is Commanding General Yahanna. We would have never had the weed, crack, pills, heroin, and all of the hell that came with Islam had our people obeyed this law and not followed Elijah Muhammad in the 60s and 70s. We would have never became the Bloods and Crips, Vice Lords, Rangers, Peace Stones, Gangster Disciples that now plague just about every major city and state across this country had we obeyed Commanding General Yahanna and not went for a damn political party movement. Had we not integrated, we would have never gotten the weed, the crack, the heroin. Your woman would have never aborted your babies. Your granddaughter would have never been sliding down a stripper pole had we not integrated. Stripping became with integration. Pimping and hoeing and prostituting that we became in the 70s, following the white man's lifestyle. That came with integration thanks to Martin Luther King. These are just a few of the consequences for not obeying the prophet that the Lord set up. It literally has destroyed our people for generations to come since the days of Martin Luther King to this very day. And the only way to fix it is if you are Black, Hispanic, or Native American, you need to be in the I.S.U.P.K so that you can be trained by the prophet the Lord set up, which is Commanding General Yahanna. We're going to get it all in the Bible here. We're going to show you in the scriptures. Remember, Christ said, I didn't do away with the law or the prophets. In Matthew 5 and 17, that's important because every Christian, which is all of our people, if you're a Muslim, a Democrat, Republican, if you are atheist, you're a Christian. You're an atheist. If you celebrate birthdays, New Year's Day, you vote, Mother's Day, Father's Day, believe you're going to die and go to heaven or hell, believe that a man can only have one wife, believe that marriage is a ring and a piece of paper. If you believe it's acceptable for two men to get married or two women to get married, if you believe that everyone can have their own beliefs and still be together, you're a Christian. You understand? Islam is Christianity. Anybody can join. Buddhism, Rastafarianism is Christianity. Anybody can join. Satanism is Christianity. Anybody can join. Islam is Christianity. Anybody can join. Being a Hebrew Israelite, no one can join. It's not something you can join. You can't get jumped in. You can't sing a song. You can't dance. You can't say a prayer. You can't cry enough, pay enough money, put up a bribe, move in the neighborhood, learn how to dance. There's nothing you can do to be one of us. It is the seed of your father. That is the inheritance that makes you a Hebrew Israelite, that makes you an Israelite, man. All so-called Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans of Indian and Negro descent, we are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of people, and God requires us to obey the prophet he set up. We're going to get the rest of this Exodus, the 19th chapter. So Exodus 19 and 11, this was when our people decided that we were not going to deal with the Lord face to face anymore. The Lord is talking to Moses, and he said, and be ready against the third day. For the third day, the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai, meaning the Lord is going to come down. Exodus 19 and 12, and thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about. God has always been about boundaries. You understand? Shalom says the Lord has always been about boundaries. God has never been about everyone do whatever the hell they want, however you feel, your own way. There are boundaries for how a man is allowed to dress. You are not allowed to dress like a woman. You are not allowed to speak like a woman. You are not allowed to act feminine. You are not allowed to not even be a homosexual, just a feminine man, a soft, weak, timid, feminine man. That is unacceptable to the Lord. All that mama's boy and being in the choir, beating the tambourine that Christianity teaches is to destroy a spirit that the Lord wants a man to have. And they teach sisters to do that because there's nobody in church but homosexuals mainly and sisters who either can't keep a man, lost a man, don't have a man, or hunting other women, man. Like that's against the Lord. So the Lord's telling Moses to set boundaries around the people, saying, take heed, meaning be careful to yourselves that ye go not up into the mount. Don't go to the mountain. All you Christians talking about, I just want to touch God. I want to just touch Jesus, touch God. The Lord, it was not about you touching him. You ain't going to touch God. You understand? Or touch the border of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall surely be put to death. This is not the God that your grandmother dragged you to church and have you singing, being held hostage for 10 hours a goddamn week. Sunday, Monday, Bible study, intercessory prayer, women's prayer, men's prayer, choir rehearsal. This God here got rules out the gate. You violate these rules, you die. This is how the Lord wants our people to understand about him. This is what would keep us from getting AIDS for being homosexuals, thinking that the Lord will accept it when he will not. This is what will stop us from ever smoking a cigarette before you become addicted to Newports. Before anybody knew what crack was, our people had to be taught that it was acceptable to smoke. Had the Christian preachers done their job and taught what God said in the Bible, that an ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is a burning fire, everybody would have known not to set anything on fire and put it to their lips. There's all the crack epidemic gone, just like that. All the SHRM, all the PCP, all the angel dust, all the weed, the hydro, the hydroponics, the gas, the loud, the kush, the endo, the indica, all of that. We would have never became drug addicts because everybody would have known had they followed the prophet that the Lord set up. Mind you, I.S.U.P.K been around since the 60s. Our people chose to go and be Christians and Muslims and Democrats and Republicans and civil rights people instead of serving the Most High. And look what it got us. These are the consequences for not following the man that the Lord set up. This never had to happen had we obeyed the Lord, man. But it ain't no sweat. You addicted to drugs, you coming to I.S.U.P.K. We'll get you off of drugs. You brothers and sisters, you smoke weed, you shot heroin, you got a problem popping pills, Percocets. Get in these I.S.U.P.K classes, man. You come in here, we'll get you off of drugs, man. We'll get you off of drugs. We done beat drugs, beat all kind of drugs. Crack, weed, dope, pills, heroin, cigarettes. You understand? Smoking weed is a god that our people worship. You don't even realize you're serving another god. That's why you can't let it go. A ton of brothers and sisters refuse to cut their dreadlocks and stop smoking weed. You don't realize you serving another God. And you love that God so much, you're not willing to part with it to come and serve the Lord. You ain't required to do anything to serve the Lord in any other religion or group. But we don't have religion in here. We keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. And you're required to obey the Lord in this house. That's what it takes to earn the Lord's protection, man. So we're going to get some more. Exodus chapter 13, Exodus chapter 19 and verse 13. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. Meaning the trumpet is going to blow from a mountain. And then the people will know to come to the mountain to deal with the Most High directly. This was in Exodus, the 19th chapter. We're going to see what happened, just to give you some backdrop. Exodus 19 and 4. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. Baptism is just washing your behind. Baptism doesn't mean you serve God. Baptism doesn't mean you're a part of God's family like they teach you in church. When they dip you in water, baptism doesn't mean your sins are forgiven. Baptism and sanctifying yourselves is you wash your behind. You understand? Wash your behind, wash your clothes, make sure that you're clean. The other nations don't see this as a big deal. That's why they don't understand the importance of washing and bathing every day. It's not an African culture. It's not an Indian culture. It's not an Arab culture. It's not a Caucasian culture. It is an Israelite culture to wash your clothes regularly, wash your behind regularly, bathe yourself regularly, keep yourself clean. That's our culture. The other nations learned this from us because the Lord required it. That's what baptism is in the scriptures. You understand? Or washing yourself in water. Of course, now that Christ is on the scene, baptism is washing yourself in the word. You are being baptized right now by getting in these I.S.U.P.K classes so that you can be taught the proper way to serve the Most High and obey him. That's what baptism is. You understand now. All right. So Exodus chapter 19, verse 15. And they said, and he said unto the people, this is Moses speaking, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives, meaning do not have sex with your wives. Sex makes you unclean. Once the seed comes out of a man, you have sex with your woman, you ejaculate, you are now unclean. You have to wash your clothes, wash your skin, anything that seed gets on, a sheet, blanket, her, whatever, everybody, you have to wash. Once the next time the sun goes down, you are then clean again. You understand? Everything you touch is unclean. Once the sun goes down, you are clean again. Everything that the seed of copulation or sperm is on, all of that has to be washed. The next time the sun goes down, that will make whatever was unclean clean. All right? So that's why it says, come not at your wives, meaning don't have sex with your wife. Everybody needs to be clean for this. All right. Exodus chapter 19, verse 16. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders. You hear thunders, not thunder, thunders, meaning lots of thunder. Imagine you hearing lots of thunder and lightnings. Lightning, mind you, this is daytime. This isn't nighttime. This isn't a storm. It's when the day comes. Like you wake up in the morning, there's lightning. There's thunder, repeated lightning. You understand? And a thick cloud upon the mountain. The clouds, of course, we know the clouds in many cases, these are chariots. Chariots, the white man calls them UFOs. Shalom, sis. All right. And the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, meaning it's a trumpet that's blowing so loud. Now imagine if you are hearing thunder, because you can't hear lightning, you just see lightning. Imagine you are hearing thunder. Boom, boom, constant thunder, not one or two. That's why it says thunderings with an S. The suffixes are important in the Bible. Things that are plural are important in the Bible. The conjunctions are important in the Bible. All of these things are very, very important details all throughout the scriptures to learn to pay attention to that you can ignore coming out of Christianity. So you got loud thunder, loud lightning. Now imagine how loud thunder is when you hear it one time. You hear thunder out of the blue, most people just be in a panic. You understand? Now imagine you hear 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 45, 100 thunders and lightning just going constantly. Now think of how loud thunder is. On top of thunder, there's a trumpet that is blowing that you can hear over the thunder. Feel that for a second. This is the God of the Bible. When they talk about God in the Christian church, they have a God that the white man made up that is a picture of a naked white man on a cloud touching fingers, you understand, with a naked white man on the earth, you understand, or Zeus or some damn cartoon figure, some old white man, father time. That's not the God of this Bible, man. There's no choir rehearsal, everybody not singing and beating the tambourine and Big Mama waving pom-pom. That ain't the God of this Bible, man. The Lord came down with lightning in broad daylight. It says in the morning. When you first wake up, you see that blue sun and everything in the sky. Well, there's a mountain with a cloud on it. There's trumpets blowing from a mountain. There's lightning and thunder all in the sky. And it says the trumpet exceeding loud, meaning the thunder is loud. And the trumpet is exceeding loud, meaning it keeps getting louder. You understand? These people are scared to death. Everybody's scared to death. You're ready to piss and defecate and vomit and have a heart attack and jump out of your skin. This is when the Lord came down. They don't teach our people who the God of this Bible actually is. You can't learn who the God of the Bible is without understanding the Old Testament. You'll never understand Christ without learning the Old Testament. That's why Christians and preachers stay out of the Old Testament unless they're looking for song lyrics in the book of Psalms which they don't understand those either. You understand? Or lying about taking your money, you thinking you paying tithes to church. We're going to get in that tithes too. You can't pay your tithes wherever you see fit. There's a law on how to pay tithes and where to pay tithes. You can't just give money to whoever has the shiniest suit and who has the brightest teeth and the nicest gaiters and the best choir and think that you're paying tithes to the Lord. You're a thief and a robber. That's why most of the things our people do fail, from robbing the Lord, giving the Lord's money to whoever you see fit, which goes back again to choosing your own leaders, your personal salvation, a church home that best suits you. How many people have ever heard that? Anybody ever been to church, ever been a Christian? They tell you, find a church home that best suits you. Anybody ever heard that before? Y'all type in. Let's say, find a church home that best suits you, best suits your needs, whatever you want. Y'all type a 1 if anybody ever heard that before. All right. Okay. Y'all just type in there. I'll give y'all a minute. Okay, Sister Anna seen it. All right. All right. This sister, just put your name, city, state for attendance. This your Sharbanaf Shalom sisters. Put your city and information down for attendance. God, damn right. That's what they say, especially in the country. You understand? Well, the Lord does not want you to find something that best suits you. The Lord does not want us all doing our own separate thing. That's why we're so divided. You understand? That division creates space for Bloods and Crips. That division creates space for the robbers and the jackboy. That division creates space for the pimp to prey on the girls in the neighborhood that don't have a father to watch over them. You understand? Or who don't have the threat of death from the priest of the Lord that rule the city and the neighborhood over all the fatherless brothers and sisters. They don't have that. That creates the drug dealer's opportunity to hit your son or your nephew off with the pack. You understand? Or put a gun in his hand and tell him to go rob somebody so that he can join a family wearing red or blue, because his family structure of his nation is absolutely destroyed because everybody got damn personal salvation and nobody cares about being a nation to serve the Lord. All right, throw out it, sis. Come, I got you. Sister, you sharp enough. Okay, I got you. Come. So it says, so this is the Most High coming. Exodus chapter 19, verse 16. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunderings and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. Everybody was scared to death. Verse 17, and Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God. Everybody saying they want to meet God. They want to meet God. I got a relationship with God. This was your one shot that everybody had to get a personal dealing with God and deal with him directly. And they stood at neither part of the mount. At neither part of the mount. Exodus 19 and 18. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke. The whole mountain was smoking, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. So this is the God of the Bible. Everybody talk about God and Jesus, you singing and squealing, thinking you're not going to obey the Lord. This is the God of the Bible. You got thunder, not one or two thunders, constant thunder, constant lightning. You got a mountain that is on fire. You got smoke coming from a mountain. You got a trumpet that's getting louder. You got an earthquake, fire on a mountain. You got smoke, a thick cloud, lightning. This is in broad daylight. Remember, this is in the morning. You wake up in the morning, you see this. Everybody is scared to death. This is the God of the Bible. You understand? Grandma is not in church singing to this God. That's why those gospel songs are unlawful, man. They're in church singing to Satan. They're not singing to God, to this God here we read about in the Bible. They ain't singing to this God. Not the God with this thunder and lightning and earthquakes and smoke and fire and trumpets and lightning. They ain't singing to this God. They singing to the God of the LGBT, the God, the white man, who is the devil that the Bible speaks of. That's who they singing to, not the God of the Bible. Exodus 19:19. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, meaning the trumpet is already blowing louder and louder and louder, while there's an earthquake, the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder. While the trumpet is blowing, Moses spake, and God answered him by voice. Meaning Moses speaking, and the Lord answered Moses. You understand? Anybody telling you they got a personal relationship with God, they out of their damn mind. Your aunt does not know God. Your daddy, your pastor, your ministers, every church you ever been to, the ones that you liked, T.D. Jakes, the ministers, the evangelists, the deacons, anybody telling you they know God, they got a personal relationship, they are liars. There's no personal relationship with God anywhere. This was the one shot everybody had to deal with God directly face to face. We're going to see what happened. All right. Exodus 19:20 says, and the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai and the top of the mount. And the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount. And Moses went up. You understand? And the Lord said unto Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish. He told Moses immediately, go down there, because you know niggas is hard-headed. Go down there and tell them again. If you bring your blood, if they come up here, they're going to die. You know, God is not all love. It ain't songs and choir rehearsals. If you touch this mountain, many of them are going to die. You understand? There's consequences to disobeying the Lord. It comes with death. That's why we keep dying as a people. All right? Exodus 19:22, and let the priests also, which come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them, meaning the Lord jump out on them. Exodus 19:23, and Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou hast charged us, saying, set bounds about the mount and sanctify. Meaning Moses set up boundaries. And a lot of these things, this goes against that freedom. You know, God allows me to do whatever I want. I'm free to do what I want. I'm grown. I can do what I want. A good leader, a good man of the Lord sets up boundaries and restrictions for the people. You understand? Commander General Yohanna breaks down and teaches us these scriptures and how to set boundaries in our lives. Boundaries for the brothers, boundaries for the sisters, boundaries, you understand? You understand? Boundaries to protect our people's lives. All right? Where's that? Okay. These boundaries will save our people's lives. Now, the Lord told them to set up boundaries at the base of the mountain. Nobody knows. The only way they know that God said don't touch the mountain is because the Lord told Moses. Somebody tell me, if they treated Moses or they regarded the words that Moses said the way that they regard what Commander General Yohanna says, what the prophet said in the I.S.U.P.K, we tell you God says don't eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster. Don't be a homosexual. Don't go and vote. The Lord told Moses something. Moses told the people, if the people decided, I want to see who's paying attention. There's a lot of people in here on YouTube, a lot of people on Facebook, we in class. If the people decided that they did not care about what Moses said, that they got personal relationships with God, and God told Moses to tell the people not to touch the mountain, if they chose not to obey Moses, what would have happened to these people? Y'all type it in. You understand? I'll give y'all some time. Y'all type it in. What would have happened to these people? All right. Right. Okay. All right. That's right. Okay. Trooper Ayana, got you. All right. Shaw, Yaraj. All right. Young brother William Ballard. That's correct. They would die. The Old Testament, damn right, sis. They would all die. That's correct. They would die. The consequence, which is why we went to Deuteronomy, the 18th chapter. There are dire consequences for not obeying the man that the Lord put in charge. That's right, Anna. They would have all died. They would have surely died. If they decided that they have a personal relationship with God and they did not need to obey Moses, they would have touched the mountain and they would have died. That's correct. Moses, being the brother and out of love for the people and being the good leader, the man of the Lord that he was, he set the boundaries and made sure that everyone took the Lord's word serious. If Moses was singing, beating tambourines like your preachers, like they do in church, and squealing and jumping around, they would have not respected Moses, man. You cannot be a soft, weak, timid, feminine, emotional leader amongst our people. You understand? Plenty of people see the I.S.U.P.K. They wonder why we talk so hard, why we're so rough, so masculine, so disciplined, because that is the spirit of the Lord, man. From the very beginning, that has always been the spirit of the Lord. This is the spirit that it took to keep our people safe and defend this nation. While everyone else teaches that the Lord is a joke, you can do whatever you want, say and act however you feel, the only standard so that everyone will know what is right and wrong according to the Lord is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. This is the home of the truth, the defenders of the faith, the only men of God. And we say this for a reason. We're going to get the rest of these scriptures. All right. Exodus chapter 19. We're going to go back and verse 24. Mind you, the Lord didn't ask the people anything. The Lord didn't ask the people if they wanted to touch the mountain. The Lord didn't ask the people how they felt about the mountain. The Lord didn't ask the people if they wanted to. The Lord ain't say a damn thing to the people. The Lord spoke to Moses. So if you didn't want to deal with Moses, you'd have took your simple behind up there and did what you felt was right, and you'd have got yourself killed. And probably your wives and your family too. You understand? This is what's happening to our people this very day. It's still horrible consequences for not obeying the prophet that the Lord set up. You understand? So now Exodus 19 and 24, and the Lord said unto him, not them, him, one man. The Lord is at the mountain. He only talking to Moses. Away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. Meaning Aaron is not coming up because the Lord is dealing with Aaron. Aaron is coming up because the Lord is dealing with Moses. You understand? But let not the priest and the people break through to come up unto the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. Meaning, at least he put his hands on them, gonna reach out and touch them. He gonna fall on them. That's black man talk. Those of y'all that don't understand, that's black man talk. The Lord break forth on them. You're gonna die. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them. This whole thing, the Lord is not speaking to all people. All right? Shalom. Y'all Shemal Tashim Shah. The Lord ain't speaking to all people. The Lord didn't tell anybody anything. The Lord told Moses. Everyone was ordered by God to deal with Moses. All right? Now, instead of God, I'm going to give you this scripture here. It's in Exodus as well. This is a very important scripture so that you can understand. Then we're going to go back to Deuteronomy 18. Never forget this scripture. Exodus chapter 16. As Exodus, we're going to start at 15. Exodus chapter 4 and verse 15. Never forget this scripture. You understand? As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a little backdrop. The Lord is talking to Moses. He's telling Moses, you know, I'm going to use you to deliver the people, the children of Israel. Moses is telling the Lord, Moses got a speech impediment. He don't speak very well. You know, some brothers don't speak well. You know, some brothers got a speaking problem. You know, they're not very eloquent. They can't pronounce their words. Some of them stutter sometimes. You know, you never know what gift the Lord actually gave a brother. A brother that might have a speaking problem or a stuttering problem, you understand, that may be a prophet of the Lord. The white man will call you autistic and all kind of nonsense and things like that. But really, you probably need to be in here learning how to serve the Lord. You'll probably shine like a light bulb once you get where you're supposed to be. But again, as long as our people are in the world and not in the truth, building up our nation and building up our people, it'll make it very hard for our society to function so that we can insulate the weak and the damaged of our people until we are strong enough. That's what a government is for. That's what a nation is for. That is why the Lord set up our nation this way. That is what the I.S.U.P.K is for. But if you don't want to yield to the rules that the Lord set up, then you will be outside of this protection in the nation. You understand? And you, unfortunately, will watch a video of you at a traffic stop. You understand? So that's what's going on. The Lord tells Moses in Exodus chapter 4 and verse 14, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. Moses is giving the Lord an excuse, and he said, is Aaron the Levite thy brother? Is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? You understand? I know he can speak well. You understand? This is how the Lord works. Make sure y'all pay attention to this. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. And when he see thee, he will be glad in his heart. Meaning he's going to be glad to see his brother, man. Those of y'all that don't know, Moses saw an Egyptian beating up a Hebrew. He didn't like it. He saw the black on black violence just like we see in today. Moses was of great power and authority in the land of Egypt, something similar to, you know, a high in command in Pharaoh's government. Moses was also a military leader as well. Moses saw an Egyptian beating on one of the Hebrews, an Israelite. Moses beat and killed that Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. The second day Moses came out, he saw two brothers fighting each other. You understand? He saw, you know, the northern and southern Mexicans fighting. He saw the Bloods and Crips fighting, the East versus West fighting. He saw the red stick Native Americans fighting the white stick Native Americans. He saw black on black, Hispanic on Hispanic, Native on Native crime, which is a symptom of oppression and police brutality. It's a symptom of those things. You understand? And Moses ran away. He fled into the wilderness. The Lord spoke to him 40 days, gave him the instructions and everything what to do. This is the Lord still speaking to him. And of course, he's giving him instructions saying, you are now going to come back and I'm going to use you to deliver the children of Israel. And then he says, you know, Salak, sir, oh Lord, forgive me. I'm not good at speaking. You know, the Lord says, you know, I'm going to use your brother. Your brother is going to help you. That's why brotherhood is so very important, man. While Christians are busy having personal salvations, they forget to be brothers to one another. You understand? They forget to be, you know, brotherly to one another. You understand? Just all right. Just all right. You can forget very easily that your brother needs you. You understand? While everybody's off doing their own thing, feeling their own way, you can forget how important it is, you know, your actions there, that your brother needs you, that your brother or sisters need you. Brothers get rich, they leave the hood, they go and get white girls, they go and move out the ghetto, all of these things. It's very easy to forget that the millions and millions of dollars that you are taking out of the ghetto and the hood and the barrios and the reservations and the slums where you are from, your brothers and sisters need you. The only way that brothers and sisters, you understand? The only way that brothers and sisters Bear with just a moment. So like, yeah, okay. All right. Officer Khan, Officer Quashar. Officer Quashar, message Trooper Saryala. Have him give Captain Nakata a call. Bubba Quashar. Just let me know where you on Facebook or Twitter. Message Saryala. Have him give Captain Nakata a call. Bubba Quashar. All right. Just let me know once you got the message. Just type it in there. All right. So, that's what the Lord is saying. You can forget that your brother needs you. That your brother needs you to stand for him. Your brother gonna need you to be strong. You understand? All right, so let's get it. The anger of the Lord was against Moses. He said, your brother, he speaks very well. You understand? He gonna help you. Now, this Exodus 4:15, very important. And thou shalt speak unto him, meaning you are going to speak to him and put words in his mouth, meaning you are going to talk to him. The words that you are going to say, he is going to say the words, meaning right now, you are getting words put in your mouth. It's metaphorically because you are getting taught what Commanding General Yahanna was taught. The instructions that the Lord gave to Commanding General Yahanna, you are getting taught those instructions right now in these classes. And I'm going to show you how. This is how the Bible has always been. It has never changed. You understand? It says, thou shalt speak unto him and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth and with his mouth. Somebody tells me it may be too much. I'm going to just give it to you. When it says, thou shalt speak unto him, meaning you are going to speak to him and put words in his mouth, meaning he's going to say what you tell him to say. And I will be with thy mouth, meaning I, the Lord, is going to be with your mouth, talking to Moses. And with his mouth. Why is the Lord going to be with Aaron's mouth? Because Aaron is going to say exactly what the Lord told Moses to tell him. That's how it has always been. The Lord only spoke to one man. The Lord spoke to Adam. Adam spoke to everyone else. From Adam's descendants came Noah. The Lord dealt with Noah. Noah's descendants, everyone died. The world flooded. Came a man from the lineage of Noah, Abram. Abraham, his name was changed to Abraham. The Lord dealt with him. Then the Lord dealt with Isaac. Then the Lord dealt with Jacob. Then Jacob had 12 sons. Then the Lord rose up prophets from the children of those 12 sons. Then we became a nation. The Lord dealt with Moses, which is where we are now, descendant of those 12 sons. Moses is a Levite. Moses, then the Lord dealt with Joshua, then Samuel, and Gideon, and Isaiah, Jeremiah. You understand? Amos. The Lord has always only dealt with one man. This notion that God talks to everybody, that is not biblical. That is satanic. It's an unbrotherly, selfish concept. It's so unbrotherly that it's so difficult to explain brotherhood to Christians because Christians are not loyal to anyone but the white man. They're only loyal to our oppressor. You understand? If you could understand for a small second what the brotherhood of Christ that he had for his disciples, with this brotherhood in the I.S.U.P.K, what the Bible is talking about, you would understand the I.S.U.P.K better. Most people can't understand the I.S.U.P.K because they are selfish Christians. And they can't understand how someone else's needs and someone else's well-being could be more important than their own. They would not understand brotherhood, how it is important that you show brotherhood to the prophet the Lord set up. You understand? So that he can better do his job at saving the rest of our people's lives. A Christian can't understand that concept. They'd rather be free to eat pork and touch children and be whores and have sex with sisters and throw them away, or be a homosexual, or eat pork, or vote their own leader, you understand, or choose your own leader. Like, that's a disgusting thing, man. So, like, it says, I have a question I'm still due as Israelites. So, like, go ahead and type your question in one more time to Sister Kapab Vanessa. Type your question in one more time. It's not clear. Retype that, Bubba Shaw. So, Exodus 4:15, and thou shalt speak unto him and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth. Meaning you are going to repeat what I tell you to say. And with his mouth, he is going to repeat what you say to him. That is what I told you to say. And will teach you what ye shall do. Meaning the Lord is going to tell Moses, the prophet, what to do. The Lord is going to give instructions, what to tell everybody else to do. Everyone else is ordered by God to obey that one prophet the Lord set up. Exodus 4:16. And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people. And he shall be, even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth. Meaning, instead of you having this speaking problem or are limited in what you can say with your one mouth, he is going to be your mouth. So when you hear the rest of the generals, the captains, the officers, the rest of the priests and prophets of the Lord in the I.S.U.P.K, we are repeating what the one prophet of the Lord, the one leader of the nation of Israel. We don't have leaders or leadership. Commanding General Yahanna is the one leader. And there are men appointed under him to do a job. They are been appointed under those men. And under those men, that's how you build and raise up a nation. That's how you have brotherhood. A fake Israelite outside of the I.S.U.P.K can't understand brotherhood. They are too unbrotherly to follow the prophet that the Lord set up, which is the law in Deuteronomy 18:15. So when fake Israelites and Christians and Muslims tell you they love God, 1 John 5:3 says to love God is to keep the commandments. One of these commandments is Deuteronomy 18:15, which says the Lord will raise up unto thee a singular one prophet that is going to lead, and everyone is required to obey that one man. This is how it has always been done since the book of Exodus, since the book of Genesis. It has always been done that way. That's why when Christ died, he put Peter in charge. Paul set up the schools in Asia Minor. Paul reported to Peter. Now, Paul set up the schools. Why is Paul reporting to Peter? Because that's brotherhood. That's loyalty. That's the Bible. That's the law. That's what Christ taught. Christians don't understand honor and dignity and rank and loyalty and brotherhood. You understand? They don't understand serving the Lord. They don't understand that spirit. They don't have it in them because everyone is selfish with personal salvation. And what can I get for myself? And in reality, that leaves everyone with nothing. You understand? Every drug dealer's made it big and got rich. And everything that they've ever worked for is gone. The neighborhoods are gone. The trap houses are gone. Gang members fought and killed each other over projects, right? Most of the projects in every city have been torn down. So think about that for a second. For 15 and 20 years, blacks and Hispanics have fought and killed each other over projects that How long is a generation? How long is, somebody type in real quick, how long is a generation? The time for your parents to make kids, what, 20 years? 15, 20 years? You understand? Y'all on YouTube, y'all type in, how long is a generation? Somebody type it in. I got your question, sis. I'm going to come to you in just a second. Generation, 15, 20 years, 20 years old, you have kids, 18, 19. One generation later, or let's say 2 generations. 2 generations later, from the drug and gang wars of the late 70s, the 80s, the 90s, by the end or the mid 2000s, 50 years? A generation is 50 years? I don't think it's that long, sis. Because from one generation to another, my parents is one generation. I am the next generation after them. Yeah, about 20, I think about 20, 30 years. Because if you're going to have a baby, you're giving birth to the next generation. So if you having babies in your late teens or your 20s, 25 or something, 20, 30 years is when most people, right, most people are having babies. So 20, 30 years, 2 decades, right, that's what I was thinking, same thing. So within 2 decades, after murdering thousands of each other in these ghettos and these projects, all of the money and the wealth from all the dope and the drugs everybody sold, the FBI got it all back. The projects are gone. The houses have been kicked in and boarded up. The ghettos are gone. They've been torn down. The public housing is all but non-existent anymore. And millions of brothers is in prison with drug charges, murder charges, gang charges that revolve around drugs and the murder. We got nothing that we fought and died and was so proud about because we did not follow the prophet the Lord set up. I'm going to come to your question in just a second, sis. All right. So when it says, Exodus chapter 4 and 16, and he shall be thy spokesman unto the people, and he shall be, even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be unto, so like it, thou shalt be to him instead of God, instead of the Most High. What does that mean? That means that when you get orders from the prophet that the Lord set up, God is giving you those orders. You don't go to God directly. You're a greedy, evil, wicked, selfish bastard thinking you got a personal relationship with Jesus. Anybody that tell you they got a personal relationship with Jesus, normally these are Christians and things, ask them about eating pork or shrimp or crabs. Ask them about the dietary law. They'll make an excuse as to why they feel it's acceptable to break God's laws. Ask them about God saying that a woman can't teach the Bible. They'll make an excuse, even though it's in the New Testament, 1 Corinthians, 14th chapter. Ask them why a married woman is sitting in the church serving the preacher instead of at home with their husband, like it says in 1 Corinthians 14. All of these personal relationships with God, they claim, is just them doing whatever they want that makes them feel a certain way. They could care less about God, about Jesus, about the Bible, about the children that are being molested as they support these churches and make these child molesters rich and make sanctuaries for down low brothers and pedophiles and women who hunt. Y'all don't realize it's sisters that go to church, lesbians, that hunt other sisters in church so that they can sex traffic them across the country. All of this evil goes on because the Christian church is the house of Satan. It's not a place where the Lord is. The house where the Lord is, that is under the watch and the protection of the men that the Lord set up, is the I.S.U.P.K. There is no protection for our people outside of the I.S.U.P.K. None whatsoever. All right? So when you get instructions from the prophet the Lord set up, you're getting them from God. And the Lord set up Commander General Yahanna. And when Commander General Yahanna is giving orders and instructions, God is giving orders and instructions. You understand? Just like when the Lord gave instructions to Moses. Nobody got instructions but Moses. If you did not obey Moses, you died. If you challenged Moses, you died. Now, the Lord has been very lenient, very merciful, and it has not come to that yet. But you are going to see our people continue to die more and more and more because they either don't know that they are supposed to follow and obey Commander General Yahanna, or they've heard and they frowned up their nose at the truth and decided that y'all need to get jobs. Why y'all yelling? Y'all need to go and get jobs, and you lazy and y'all don't want to work and y'all beat women, all of this nonsense and silly things. And we in the I.S.U.P.K work much harder and have way more jobs and are better fathers, better husbands, better brothers than you and every man you've ever met in your entire life. All of your aunts and your mom's failed relationships, all of her failed boyfriends and failed marriages, the gay ones and the straight ones, they're much better quality of caliber of men and fathers and husbands and sisters and brothers in the I.S.U.P.K than you've ever encountered in your entire life. And we fix our people. That silly notion is because Christians hate poor blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You don't know how we live. We got all kinds of gold teeth, gold rings, gold chains, jewelry, everything. Houses, wives, you understand? What you don't realize is you look at a man of God and expect him to be some shiny, bent wrist, broke back homosexual in a suit talking smooth words. You don't realize the Lord is a man of war. He about conflict, drama, action. You understand? Doing what's necessary. Raising his voice if need be. Raising sword if need be. You don't understand that. You don't have the spirit of the Lord, man. Y'all get in these I.S.U.P.K classes, man. If you a brother and you want to become a trooper in the school to join this force to fix our people, you contact the school, man. 757-550-1204. If you in the state of Virginia, go to ISUPK.com. We got a listing for all of our schools. We got schools in dozens of states, you understand? 30, 40 states, multiple countries, you understand? Puerto Rico, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Brazil, the UK, Canada, you understand? Central America, you understand? You come get in this work, man. Get in this warfare, all right? So let's get to the sister's question. All right, Sister Kapab, Manasa, Marshall. Let's see. It's like I got a question. I've been in the truth for a minute, but I'm still trying to understand why most of our teachings come from the Old Testament. Where do we stand in the New Testament? I hope I'm asking correctly. That's a good question there. That's a very good question there. Most of the teachings come from the Old Testament because Christ taught the Old Testament. Everything that Christ was teaching was the Old Testament. You learn about the Most High from the Old Testament. You learn about the history and the heritage of our people from the Old Testament. Once you get it, first of all, the New Testament begins in Jeremiah, the 31st verse. Jeremiah 31 and 31, that's when the Lord began or started working on that new covenant. Christ was living the New Testament, teaching the Old Testament. This is the law class. Of course, the law is contained in the Old Testament. That is when you learn the mistakes that our people made as a nation. The mistakes of how we made, the mistakes of joining the other nations, the mistakes of, taking strange wives, of not obeying the Most High. The lessons are in the Old Testament. The New Testament is Christ explaining where we did not understand those things. Christ was teaching the Old Testament. The disciples were teaching the law. Paul was teaching the law. Peter was teaching the law. Our people never understood the law. The problem with the Old Testament, it was not necessarily the problem. The issue with our people was that we did not understand the Most High. We didn't understand his laws. We didn't understand his spirit. And we did not have the ability to have his spirit on all of our people. You understand? That's correct. He didn't come to bring peace, but he came to bring a sword. All right? And what the Old Testament is for is this is how our nation is supposed to function. When Christ stepped on the scene, we were in captivity under the Romans. They were paying tribute to the Romans. So when Christ stepped on the scene, That's why they got him crucified by taking him before the Romans, because Rome was ruling over our people. How we build our nation, how our nation functions, how we have our marriages, with laws on marriage, how we ended up serving other gods, you know, all of these things, Christmas, the holidays, birthdays, all of these things the Lord had always told us not to do. They are contained in the Old Testament, which is why Christ taught from there, the disciples taught from there, just like I mentioned before. All right. But we do teach in the New Testament, but the New Testament is all talking about the Old Testament. All right. All right. I'm not sure what you mean with the Romans 5 and 15 and 3 are there. See, Christ pleased not himself, but as it was written, the reproaches of them that reproached thee fell on me. You understand? All right. So the framework for how to put our nation back together is contained in the Old Testament. There are a lot of things that are in the New Testament that do not explain themselves unless you know the Old Testament. What we are doing with the New Testament is teaching our people how to go back to when our society functioned as a nation in the Old Testament. That's how we get to see it, you know, different things like that. So now we want to go to Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 15. All right. So Deuteronomy 1 and 15, this is a bedrock I.S.U.P.K scripture. You understand? When people say, well, it doesn't say I.S.U.P.K in the Bible, this is another scripture. This is the I.S.U.P.K in the Bible. You understand? It says, so I took the chief of your tribes, wise men, men that understand and know. These are men that are known, they are wise, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands. That's why we have captains in I.S.U.P.K. Captain Meshach, my young, Captain Tazarian, you understand? Captain Sakawar, Captain Katazah, you understand? Captain Ahmad Yashar, Captain Yatazak, Captain Yashimar in Dallas, Captain Kahuntham Yad, Salaki, Captain Ashaparia, Captain Nayathak, you understand? We have captains in I.S.U.P.K. because the Bible says to have captains. You understand? Captains over hundreds and captains over thousands, captains over hundreds, captains over 50s, captains over 10s, and officers amongst your tribes. We have officers. That's why we have officers of thousands and hundreds and 50s, because in the Bible, we always had captains and officers. So all the fake Israelite groups and all the Christian churches that you've seen and encountered, after they studied enough UPK classes to learn that they're supposed to be actual captains and officers and generals, they then started to call themselves captain and officer many years after they didn't understand any of that. You understand? All right. So this is why it says, and officers amongst your tribes. Why does it say officers? This is This is Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 15. This is a law in the Bible. This is the purpose for these officers. Black people get killed calling 911 because you should not call 911. There should be thousands of officers and captains in every city. Mind you, are we supposed to eat pork anywhere? No. Nowhere there are Israelites should anyone eat pork. Nowhere where there are Israelites should anyone be a homosexual. None of us, if we're in Jamaica, if we're in Brazil, if we're in Richmond, if we're in Roanoke, if we're in Arlington, if we're in Alexandria, if we're in Newport News, wherever we are, Mexico, El Salvador, no Israelite should have sex with another man's woman. No one should rape anybody. No one should sell drugs. No one should get high. No one should pray to Caesar Borgia or Allah or smoke weed. Everywhere we are, just like those are laws, having these officers of tens and thousands and these captains ruling over our cities, this is a law. The police show up, you understand? The police show up and kill black men when you call for help, like they did that brother in Spotsylvania, shot him 10 times. Your car is broken down, like Betty Shelby killed Terrence Crutcher when his truck broke down in the middle of the street. You understand? Tatiana Jones, she was in her house playing video games. The white man shot her through the house door of a wellness check. There's supposed to be thousands of I.S.U.P.K officers to show up to your house for a wellness check. Like that sister in the fight with those sisters that was jumping her. You understand? After they jumping her, 4 sisters beating her up in Ohio, she pulls the knife. Somebody gets dropped. She's swinging the blade. She getting jumped. She getting beat on. White boy shows up in the middle of a black neighborhood with a black dispute between black people where he has no white business showing up for our nigger emergencies. But because Martin Luther King had us integrate and the Christian preachers teach us to be a part of America, and you vote and hope in change that I can believe in, and Biden Harris and Trump Pence and Hillary 2020 and Biden and Mitt Romney, because you voting for mayors and we put our hope and trust in America's system instead of obeying the Lord and keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments and obeying the one prophet the Lord set up, which was Commanding General Yahanna, who kept the tradition that we've always had in the Bible that was given to him since 1969 when the truth came back into the earth. We got officers, captains. Those officers and captains are who's supposed to show up to stop sisters from fighting in Cleveland. But because everyone in Cleveland is a Muslim, is a Christian, is a Democrat, is a Republican, you understand? When you go for help in your Christian mind, I dial 911. And when you dial 911 without the protection of the Lord, a white man shows up and shoots immediately. Immediately. You understand? He's not trying to risk his life to save his sister's life. He ain't really willing and ready to die so that his people can live. It's not his people. Why the hell would I, a white man, leave my white community, my white family, and risk my white life for my future white generations to leave my white woman and my white kids so that I can go in this black neighborhood with these black problems, with black people that's fighting with their black economy, their black community, their black problems, their black schools, their black drug addictions, they black in jail, they black in court, all of these nigger problems. Why would I risk my white life for this black problem? Why would I not show up and just shoot so that I can go back to my white life where I'm safe? They don't belong amongst us. We don't belong amongst them. The Chinese understand it. The Arabs understand it. The East Indians understand it. The different Africans understand it. That's why they all have their own communities. Black people are the only one. Everybody can come and go freely in our community. Set up shop, set up business, be the law, be the police, open a mosque, open a temple, bring in their religion. There's no boundaries. Remember, we talked about boundaries. There's no boundaries set up to keep them out. Well, you and every other Black, Hispanic, Native American, you get in the I.S.U.P.K. and we'll set boundaries. Commander General Yahanna will set boundaries in Richmond. You understand? We'll set boundaries in Richmond. We'll set boundaries in Newport News. There'll be boundaries in Norfolk. Brothers and sisters in the I.S.U.P.K, we don't get kidnapped. Our children don't get molested. You understand? There are unlike Christians who will sing, who will dance, who will vote, who will cry. There's no consequence to what happens to them. There's a consequence for what you do to a brother or sister in the I.S.U.P.K. There's a consequence. You understand? There's a consequence for what you do with or without a badge, a civilian or whoever, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Arab, East Indian, Native American, you do something to one of us here in this body of Christ, under Commander General Yahanna, there is a consequence for what you do to one of us in here. We are not Christians, you understand? But there is no consequence for what happens to a Christian. And if you are outside of the I.S.U.P.K, you are outside of the protection that God has set up for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. All right? So that's what it says. We're going to come to your question in just a second, Sister Shakal. All right? So Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 15 says, I took the chief of your tribes and wise men and known and made them heads over you, captains over thousands and captains over hundreds and captains over fifties and captains over tens and officers amongst your tribes. And I charge your judges at that time, saying, hear ye the causes between your brethren. There's another problem. Black people taking their issues to the white man's court. You understand, the court take the kids, put the mother and the father on child support. Somebody goes to jail. The police show up to the house. Y'all getting into an argument. He just going to pull the gun so he can make it back home. He going to take your man away. He going to take your kids away, might take you away, going to take your house away. Our problems don't get fixed going to this, our oppressor's court, going to his law. You understand? We got judges set up amongst our nation. That's what the generals and captains is for. You understand? But if you are Christian, in your Christian mind, you're taught that you are part of America. So you'll go in the white man's courtroom looking for justice, and the white man will say, yeah, it was an accident. I know your son is dead, but, you know, things happen. I thought it was a taser. She was in fear for her life. It's a mistake. She didn't really mean it. I know he dead, but things happen. Everybody's sad. It wasn't racially motivated. It's not about race. Here's a couple of $2 million. We're sorry. All right. No, in fact, if you take the money, you don't get the apology. You understand? That's how evil they deal with our people. So what's the purpose? And I charge your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is within thee. It says to judge the matters. Black men in Richmond and Norfolk are shooting each other because Christians say don't judge. So there is no judgment. If you do something wrong that I don't like, I might just have to kill you because I can't get judgment. I can't get any justice for you robbing me as a child. We can't get justice for being molested as kids because grandma's going to cover for the uncle that's touching everybody. Mommy's going to take up for her boyfriend that's molesting everybody. So because I can't get any judgment or any justice for the evil that is happening to me, I must go and shoot up apartment complexes in Portsmouth because I can't get justice. So I must take my injustice out on someone else. Someone hurt me, I must go and hurt other people. Violence was done to me, I must be violent to other people. Someone robbed me, I must rob other people. Someone did something horrible to me, I must do horrible things to other people. I was robbed, I must rob. That's what Christianity has left our communities. That's how evil it is when you hear Christians say, don't judge me, I'm not judging, nobody's judging. Without judgment, everyone gets molested. Without judgment, everyone gets robbed, everyone's car gets broken into, everyone gets kidnapped, everyone gets their things stolen, everyone is violated, everyone is disrespected, everyone gets mistreated, and nobody ever says anything because I don't give a damn about you. I got personal salvation. That's how evil Christianity is. You understand? When if you had brotherhood, I wouldn't sell drugs to you to feed my family. I'd rather me and my family die than to poison and destroy your family. You understand? I'm not going to rob you because I'm poor, even though I need it. And the only reason our people are left in these desperate situations is because greedy, disgusting, rich Black Christians Hispanic and Native American Christians, they hoard all of the wealth that God has given them to provide for their people. That's why Dr. Dre is worth $1 billion. That's why P. Diddy is worth 800 million. That's why Jay-Z is worth $1 billion. That's why there are hundreds of millions of dollars in a select few number of blacks and Hispanics' bank accounts, while the rest of our people slit each other's throats for crumbs and have to beg our oppressors for a damn stimulus check, while being looked at as criminals, while being hated for being poor, while having our neighborhoods taken away, our rent being raised, having bad water conditions, our roads and streets not getting fixed, while having everything be against us, on top of 400 years of having our identity stripped away, our fathers and strong men taken out of the community, everybody getting goddamn molested, community flooded with drugs. We on the damn reservation as a people that no one even knows we still exist in the earth. You understand? We in INS detention centers getting told to drink out of toilet water. You understand? That's what's happening to our people. On top of that, you dial 911, the police going to show up and kill you still. That's why we must get an I.S.U.P.K. That's how serious the Lord takes this law. Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 18. I will raise up them a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth. And he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken, meaning if you won't listen unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. Meaning if you don't listen to the prophet he set up, the Lord is going to punish you. And we're getting punished constantly from following every leader that we choose personally, besides the one leader the Lord set up, which is Commanding General Yahanna. Let me get your question. Sister Shakal said, I also have a question. Why is it that Moses wasn't able to go into the land of Canaan? Long story short, Moses did something he was not supposed to do. He angered the Lord. The Lord gave them, if you look up, broke the tablets. Let me get that for you. Moses broke the tablets. It may be break. If it's old Quaker English, break. Let me see. I get that for you. Okay, Deuteronomy, and it come to pass, break them beneath and break the golden earrings. Let's see. Break the pitchers, break pitchers. Okay. I think it's Deuteronomy 9 and 17, Sister Shakal. And I took the two tablets and cast them out of my two hands and break them before your eyes. All right. Long story short, our people were sinning against the Lord. Moses went up to speak to the Lord for 40 days. He went up to speak to the Lord and dealt with the Most High. Came back down. The people had made golden calves to worship the gods of Egypt. You understand? Moses was furious after bringing them through the Red Sea, showing them all the Lord's plagues, delivering them out of Egypt, having the Egyptian army killed and drowned in the Red Sea. They still refused to serve the Lord. Moses was frustrated. He was furious. He broke the two tablets of stone, the 10 commandments that the Most High wrote down. Even though they are more than 10 commandments, he broke them that the Lord created. He wrote with his own finger. And Deuteronomy chapter 9 and verse 20, and the Lord was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him. And I prayed for Aaron also the same time. You understand? So the Lord was angry with Aaron because Aaron allowed the people to give them all of their gold so that they can make a liquid golden calf. You understand? A golden calf, which is Hathor, the Egyptian god. You can look up Hathor. You can look up Molech. You can look that up. The big calf that the Canaanite idols worship. They worshipped it in Egypt. They would sacrifice their babies. You understand? And the big ovens there is the Egyptian culture. They got it from ancient Babylon. You can look up Hathor, Hathor. You'll see that cow-like god figure. This is what they did in ancient Egypt. And this is what our people created while the Moses was talking to the Most High. So he broke that, and the Lord told Moses, "There, you're not going into the land of Canaan anymore," because of what Moses did. You understand? Moses said, once I die, I can't go into Canaan, but dig up my bones and take me out of the wilderness where we died, and then bury my bones in the land of Canaan. You understand? Of course, that's what he told Joshua, but that's the reason why. Okay? So now we're going to get this. There's another story. We're going to get tithes, T-I-T-H-E. We're going to get two more things real quick before we wrap up. We want to get tithes. Tithes. Somebody type into me what tithes is. Type in tithes. I'm going to get the law on tithes. All right? All right, y'all type it in there. Let's get tithes. All right. As a matter of fact, for time's sake, I'm going to just go into it. We're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 12. All right. We're going to get the law on tithes. All right, tithes. You cannot pay, that's right, 10% of every earning of every penny of any increase. All right. Numbers. Let's see. Numbers chapter 18. I'm trying to see where it starts. All right. Redeem all of his tithes. Okay. We'll get them all. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 27. All right. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 27 and verse 30. Okay. Okay, tithes is 10% of every penny of any increase that the Lord gives you. All right. I mean, the laws are just so righteous, man. 10% of every penny, Leviticus chapter 27, verse 31. Let's say if you get let's say you get a check for $1,000. Let's not even use 1,000. Let's use 100. Let's say you get $100. Somebody gives you $100. 10% of that is your tithes. Okay. Let's say somebody gives you $100, but of that $100 that you receive, you end up having to spend the whole 100. Now, this is not somebody giving you money to go and purchase something for them or yourself. This is someone giving you money, like they're giving it to you. This isn't me saying, here's $20. I want you to go to the store, buy me something to drink, and then bring me my change back. Or here's $20. You understand? Any increase that you have, you pay 10%. Leviticus 27 and 31. If a man will at all redeem aught of his tithes, meaning if you have to use some of that, let's say your tithes is $10 and you've already spent the $90 and you need to spend $5 more of the $90. Something came up, you got to get gas, whatever, you got to spend another $5. 10 of that belongs to the Lord. You have to spend some of that 10%, which is some of that $10. It says, if you redeem some of the tithes, because that belongs to the Lord, he shall add hereto the fifth part thereof. Meaning, if the tithes is $10 and you spend some of that $10, then you have to add a fifth part, meaning 5%. of whatever that tithe was, you have to add to it. All right. So what is 5% of 10? It's like $2, something like that. So now you will add 5% to whatever that 10% was. All right. 5% of that 10, you understand, probably $2. So then your tithe would be $12 because you spent some of the tithe money. All right. Of course, you may not need to deal with that if you're just paying straight out of your bank account, you're paying online, you're paying the Zelle or the Cash App. In most cases, it's just money being transferred from your bank account. But if you were giving corn or oxen or something like that, those first fruits would be paid tithes to the priest, because the priest would eat the tithes that you brought in. You understand? If you brought in corn, your carrots, your crops, your sheep and things, these things would be brought in and the priest would eat those to consume. It's directly tied into you having brotherhood and thinking about your brother. Because if you, which is why it's so evil in these churches, that these churches teach you to love this damn building fund and build these mega $1 million mansions while everybody in the church is struggling to get a place to live and keep their damn lights on, and decide between, you know, selling their tail and stripping and selling dope to get food in the damn refrigerator, because your greedy, disgusting, personal salvation pimp preacher, everybody on the block wants to build a new church. God said, let there be no divisions among you. That's what Christ said. Why the hell are there 10 churches on one block if it ain't supposed to be no divisions? Like, Christians don't even believe what's in the Bible. All right. So that's the law on tithes. Let's get the other part. Now we want to go to Deuteronomy chapter 12 and verse 11. Another very important thing on tithes. If you are going to church, your mothers, your aunts, your cousins, everybody got relatives that's in church, man. Giving your money to the Christian church is not paying tithes. The law on tithes, there is a place, there's only one place where you can pay tithes. Otherwise, you are stealing the Lord's money and giving it to a thief and a robber, which is what all these churches are, which is what most of our people do. You understand? Deuteronomy chapter 12 and verse 11 says, then there shall be a place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Now, when it says his name, that's not talking about words written on a building. When it says your name, this is your reputation. This is black man talk. You understand? Stop playing with my name. Put respect on my name. You understand? Y'all remember, understand? Marlo Stanfield. My name is my name. You understand? Pusha T made an album. My name is my name. You're a black man. Your name, your reputation is important. It's very important. You understand? Because you are the children of the Lord. We are God's chosen people. Our name, our reputation, our word is extremely important. If you say yes, then it must be yes. If you say no, then it must be no. If you cannot do it, do not say yes. You understand? Why? Because your yea needs to be yea and your nay needs to be nay. Anything else becometh evil. You understand? That's important in the scriptures. All right? We are so used to following people who will lie to us, like preachers and politicians and our religious leaders, so that they can get a dollar. You understand? But it says, then there should be a place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. The only place where the reputation of the Most High, who he truly is, lives there is in the I.S.U.P.K. Thither, meaning in that place, shall ye bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings, your sacrifices, your tithes, and the heave offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which ye vow unto the Lord. You understand? Meaning your tithes are to be paid in one place. You can't pay tithes everywhere you see fit. In Mexico, they have their own churches. They pay to the Catholic Church. You understand? I'll never forget this. They built a $50 million church in Honduras, man. The most dangerous country on the entire planet. I think, you understand, Honduras and El Salvador go back and forth as two of the most dangerous countries on the whole planet. Highest homicide rate on the planet Earth in El Salvador and Honduras. Honduras, these brothers built a $50 million Roman Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church takes in upwards of $50 billion in tax-free donations worldwide every year. El Salvador and Honduras, just like all of Latin America, is filled with Roman Catholics. Those $50 billion that every poor Maria, Jose, Jocelyn, Javier, everyone is pouring, and tons of black people too. You understand? Tons of grandmas and aunts and aunties and Lisas and Cheryls and Kims and Kikis are all paying money. And Sister Smallwood and Sister Beverly and Sister Jenkins and Mother Williams, they all paying to the Roman Catholic Church every single month, every time they get their check. None of them are paying tithes to the Lord. They're giving to our oppressor, to thieves and robbers. They built this church in Honduras for $50 million. And then after these brothers and sisters built this $50 million mega church, the Roman Catholic Church that gets $50 billion tax-free worldwide every year, they told these poor brothers and sisters that have to drop out of school by the 6th grade because they need to start working to earn for their family. That's how it's going with Zebulon, man. They told these brothers and sisters, we don't have any money to pay you. If they had paid them, you know what those brothers and sisters would have done? They would have given that money to the church. Because that's what good Catholics do. Even though they've given billions of dollars to this Roman Catholic Church every year, our brothers and sisters who are Roman Catholics are starving to death, dirt poor, in poverty, because the men that God set up, the prophets that he set up, have captains and generals and officers of 10,000s and 13,000s and 5,000s and 1,000s and 500s and 50s, who the Lord set up to be in charge over Mexico, over El Salvador, over Guatemala. But instead, our leaders chose Catholicism. They chose our oppressors' culture after being beaten and tortured and raped and murdered and maimed and hung and lynched for centuries so that they can speak Spanish, so that they can accept the culture of our oppressors. Those who were still alive accepted Roman Catholicism. Our people are in dire straits under heavy oppression. And if you loved them, and if anybody loved these brothers and sisters, and you love the brothers and sisters in the ghetto, getting killed, getting gunned down, who are destroyed, who have no idea who they are in the earth. You understand? Black men that are rich, those athletes and things, they don't know what race they are, what land they come from, what language they spoke, what their heritage is. You understand? Like, our people are destroyed. And if you love them, you would get in the I.S.U.P.K and fight for those brothers and sisters who cannot fight for themselves. You would build a force so that those brothers and sisters can have protection, man, so that they can get raised up in righteousness, so that the protection of the Lord will cover them. Once this school grows and gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, then more brothers and sisters pour into this school, just like you've seen in the Passover, man. In order for the evil to stop, like, our people believe in Christianity, and Christianity has failed us at every turn. Every turn it has failed. You understand? Let's see. First Maccabees. Let's see. Bear with me just a moment. Let me see. I might not have time for it. We might need to get that another time. Zealous of the law, maintain of the covenant. There's a good story in the Maccabees. It's very important. I'll never forget Captain Meshach brought this story out. Apocrypha. He brought this story out many years ago. I was sitting in class, it's me and him, and he explains why it is so important. It's not good enough to just keep God's laws. That's not going to protect you, because there are laws that you think that you keeping by not eating pork and not smoking weed, not celebrating Christmas, not eating crab, shrimp, and lobster. One of the most important laws is obeying the prophet that the Lord set up. Because if you are not following him, you cannot eat pork, you cannot eat shrimp, you cannot get high, you can stop going to church, stop being a Muslim. But if you are not following the man that the Lord set up, and you put yourself outside of God's protection still, it's not enough for you to just keep the law your own way. You understand? That's why I brought that law out, Deuteronomy 18 and 15 and 18 and 18. It's so very important, because many of our people do not realize that you cannot get around obeying who the Lord set up, which is Commander Gen.YAHANNA. You see, you can't go and make your own church, your own religion, have your own beliefs. You cannot do that. You understand? The Lord is not going to be with that. That's not going to give our people protection from our oppressors. We want to hit these last few scriptures. We want to go to 1 Maccabees chapter 2. And we're going to start at verse 17. There was a brother. 1 Maccabees is in the Apocrypha. If you don't have an Apocrypha, you can get one from the school's website. You can also go and pull up an Apocrypha on your phone, KingJamesBibleOnline.org. You can go to there and read the Apocrypha online. You can also download the app for the Apocrypha. Just message the Virginia School 757-550-1204. Just send a message. We'll send you the link to download that Bible app that has the Apocrypha included in it. That way you can follow along if you do not already have one. The Apocrypha, for those of you who don't know, the Apocrypha is a part of the Bible. It is books that the Roman Catholic Church took out of the Bible. You understand? They took them out of the Bible because they did not want you to know who the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans were, who the Gentiles and the Greeks were that's talked about in the New Testament, and that the white man is our oppressor, the devil that the Bible speaks of, and that salvation is not for all people. The Apocrypha clearly explains so many things, and that gap between the end of Malachi, which is so-called the end of the Old Testament, and the book of Matthew, which is the beginning of the so-called New Testament, which is what they say. The school's number is the same number that the school messages you from. The I.S.U.P.K Virginia school number, 757-550-1204. All right. You have the number. Sis, you have the number. All right. Just let us know. Be able to text you that app so that you can download the Apocrypha there. But 1 Maccabees, the second chapter, the Greeks, the white man, after the death of Alexander the Great, they were taking over lands they already ruled over. One of them, they took over Egypt under the rule of the Ptolemies. All of this is recorded here in the Apocrypha. This is world history. You understand? Well documented. People try to make it seem like the Bible is made up. The Bible tells the exact stories that are documented in ancient history. The only thing that you don't realize is the white man has made everyone in history to be white except the devil. None of these empires or civilizations were white except for the Edomites and the Romans, or so-called Caucasians. You understand? Everyone else were people of color, not black people, but people of color. You understand? There's only one nation the Lord made where the people did not have color. That was a curse that he put on Esau, the seed of your father. All right. So this man, Mattathias, he was a ruler. He was a Jew, the tribe of Judah. Matthaiah in the Hebrew, he had many sons. The Greeks were coming to gentrify our lands. They were killing our people. They were killing our babies. They were taking over our temples. The white man was setting up shop, and he was looking for Uncle Tom, Al Sharpton, Elijah Cummings, Martin Luther King, Jesse Jackson, Ralph Abernathy, civil rights Negroes, so that they can come and integrate black people into stop serving the Most High, to be good Christians, to live like white men, to live like our oppressor, and to stop keeping our laws, statutes, and commandments, serving the Most High. So it says in 1 Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 16. All right. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. That's why your sons are so important. That's why they want to turn black men into criminals. You will not be able to stand against the evil that the white man wants to do by whoring out our sisters, destroying our communities, putting everybody on drugs, destroying our music, destroying our families, bringing that feminist movement to tell sisters they don't need their man, while the children run wild and destroy everything. All of these things come from our oppressor ruling over us, and wicked, evil Christian leaders, like I named, those civil rights leaders, all of those pastors, that even though they may seem like they're against America, or they may be against certain things that America does or says, they still love America. They still believe in voting. They still believe in Martin Luther King. They still believe in integration. They still believe in marching and protesting. They still believe in blaming blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans for the problems and the trouble that they are having, that our people suffer because of our poverty and because we are being preyed on or preyed upon by our oppressors. All right. So those sons are very important. All right. It says, verse 17, then answered the king's officers. This king was coming to force our people to accept them. Damn right, wolf in sheep's clothing. And said to Mattathias on this wise, thou art a ruler. This is a white man, and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. You got many sons, you got many brothers. They down for you. They'll ride with you. They'll do whatever you say. You have strength and power. Now, therefore, come thou first and fulfill the king's commandments. Meaning, come and obey the king's commandments. When you hear come thou first, spiritually, that's where you get the first black man to do this, the first black to integrate baseball, Jesse Robinson, the first black man to play, outside of Jim Crow and play and sing and dance with white people, the first black people to integrate schools, the first black team to integrate baseball and basketball. And in the process, all of the black colleges fall apart because everybody now wants to go to the white college now that we can join our oppressors. The Negro Leagues, football, baseball, hockey, and basketball now falls apart because we all joined the National Football and Basketball League, which by national, they mean the white football and basketball league, because we already had our own Negro leagues, and the Negro leagues was filled with blacks and Hispanics. By default, if black people separated from our oppressors, Hispanics and Native Americans would automatically be with us. We were always together. The only thing that separated us was the white man passing his laws, the white man making his drug wars, which he started, which was a CIA movement that they did all throughout Central and South America, North America, throughout all the ghettos in America. He started these drug wars. You understand? CIA chemists made up the crack, made up the cocaine, made up the heroin. No, they made up the cocaine and the heroin. That's why they punish you harder for crack, because brothers in the ghetto made up crack to sell cocaine cheaper and stretch it. That's why you get punished harsher for distributing or selling crack cocaine than you would for powder cocaine, because crack was much cheaper. It was more of a black thing, a Hispanic thing, and powdered cocaine was more of a white thing. It was more prestigious. It was more rich. It was more wealthy. It wasn't a rock. It wasn't dirty and black. You understand? That's why you get more time for selling crack than you do for selling cocaine, or it used to be now, if you even make it to court, because the police killing brothers in traffic stop, who gets to go to court anymore? Nobody goes to court, but the white people who murder black people, they make it to court. You shoot up a church, you shoot up a school, you shoot up a nightclub, you shoot up a daycare, the police will make sure you go to court. You get pulled over at a traffic stop, you're not making it to court. You understand? You might not make it to court. All right. So this is what they said. They wanted Mattathias to come now and obey the king. It says, 1 Maccabees 2:18, now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done. Again, the Lord telling us not to join the heathen, not to join the heathen, not to be a part of their world, not to make marriages with them. A marriage is also a friendship, a covenant. We doing business. We meet here to do business. That's it. You can't take my daughters. We won't take your sons. We're not sharing gods. You're not welcome here. This is the business that we have. You're done. You're back with your people. I'm back with my people. That's equality. You violate these rules at any point, we have an army to deal with you. That's equality. You understand? So they were trying to persuade this brother. And he said, yea, and the men of Judah also, as such as remain in Jerusalem, weak, wicked, big-head Negroes like Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, they were able to come up by selling out our people and being traitors. So shalt thou and thy house be in the number amongst the king's friends, being friends with our oppressors. That's why the Bible says, never trust thine enemies. Never join your oppressors. 1 Ezra 8:84 and 85, never trust them. You understand? And thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. This was the brother's response. All right, y'all hang in there. We're going a little bit over the time. The brother's response, verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away everyone from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion or our laws, either on the right hand or the left. Meaning he said, we're going to serve the Lord. Now, verse 23 says there was a big head Negro. Here come your Martin Luther King. Now, when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar that was at Moded, according to the king's commandment, to kill some pork on the altar. You understand? Of course, eating pork is unlawful. For sure, killing the blood of a pig on the altar would desecrate the altar so that he could be friends with the white man. You understand? He did this in front of everybody. Mattathias is making a stand for the Lord because he's the man that the Lord is rolling with. He got the spirit of the Lord on him. Here comes this wicked, big-head Negro, this Christian, saying, you know, he gonna go ahead and do it anyway after this brother gonna stand for the Lord, to cause a division, to make the people have to do something the Lord never wanted, which was to be conflicted in whether they should obey the Lord or follow another way. That's against the Lord. You're supposed to die for that. Otherwise, 20 years later, we'll be Christians and Muslims and be in the LGBT community, filled with AIDS and drug addictions and sicknesses and in prison and doing life sentences for all the murder that happened because we integrated and took the culture of these other nations of people. All right, we're going to wrap it up real soon, y'all. We're coming up on it. Y'all stay with us. And he went to sacrifice. When he went to do that, verse 24, which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal. Zeal is your desire to do the will of the Lord. And his reins trembled, meaning he's shaken inside at how angry he is, filled with his desire to serve the Most High. Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Judgment is the punishment. The punishment for serving another God, saying you're not going to keep the Lord's commandments to serve another God, that judgment is death. He knew the judgments because he was a man of the Lord. And we're not telling you go out and kill nobody now, but this is the Lord's judgments, and this is what happened. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. This wicked Negro, Mattathias, killed this brother for attempting to desecrate the Lord and disrespect the Most High, you understand, so that he can come up and have personal salvation and wealth and riches while betraying his God, his people, his king, his nation. That's against the law. All right. So he killed him. And also the king's commissioner who told men, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at this time. And the altar he pulled down, he knocked the whole altar down and dealt zealously, meaning he dealt in the spirit of the Lord. This is what the Lord wanted. You understand? For the law of the Most High, as Phinehas did unto Zambri, the son of Salom, or Salem. This is the story. The brother had sex with the Moabite woman in the tent. The Lord had a plague. About 75,000 brothers died because he had sex with a heathen woman, because Moses married a heathen woman when he was in the world. He figured he could go on and do it, thinking that equality, another homosexual, silly Christian concept, and to stop the plague, which thousands of brothers and sisters died from him wanting to have sex with a heathen woman. The Lord killed tons of brothers and sisters for that, in the thousands, because he had sex with a heathen woman. To stop that plague, one brother killed him and that heathen woman while they were having sex. The Lord was pleased and the plague finally stopped. That's the spirit of the Lord, man. Ain't got nothing to do with singing and hugging and giving kisses. You understand? So this is the important part. Verse 27, and Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law, meaning you got the desire to serve the Most High and keep his laws and maintain the covenant, let him follow me. This is the same call Commander Gen.YAHANNA gave everybody. All camps return to the original school. Get in the I.S.U.P.K. The Lord give this same call. Verse 28, so he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that ever they had in the city. Now imagine, many brothers and sisters, they see evil that's being done. You understand? Y'all pay close attention to this. It's a very important lesson, y'all. Make sure you put this in your spirit. You brothers and you sisters, you hear how important it is to talk, communicate, respond to messages in a timely fashion. You understand? An order could come down like this, where you get an order that the Lord is with the man, the prophet of God that we've been reading about in Deuteronomy 18. The Lord give an order for everybody to pack up and leave the cities. When this order go out, you need to respond. You can't be playing games and looking at the message and not responding, all kind of nonsense. This order get out, communication got to go. You understand? Richmond got to evacuate. Norfolk got to be evacuated. Portsmouth got to be evacuated. Every brother and sister, we got to go. The Lord gave a call. We got to roll now. Now. You at work, meet here, we leave it. Kids here, get them, meet here, we leave it. Everybody got an order to leave now. This is the type of situations that we found ourselves in many times in the scriptures. This is why it's important that you don't have a church, but you got an army. Our government, our society is functioning as a militant nation. Not a church, not where everybody does what they want, however they feel, Chantilly, that's right, damn right. Get an order to evacuate, you're going to get moved. We got to go. The Lord want us here. We all need to get here. Somebody coming through, we getting and we going because the Lord said it. Now, if you a Christian, you believe your own way. Don't take all of that. I'm going to march my own way. I want to go and protest. I believe in voting. Here's what's going to happen. The Lord has this recorded in the scriptures. It says, he and his sons fled into the mountain because the Lord was with him. The words he said came from the Lord. That's what the Lord wanted said. That's what the Lord want done. Remember, the Lord will raise up a prophet like unto your brothers and put words in his mouth. And he's going to speak all that I command. And whosoever shall not listen to him, I'm paraphrasing, it will be required of him why you did not obey the commandment that God sent out through the prophet he set up. At this time, it was Mattathias. He said, everybody flee into the mountains. Leave now, meet us in the mountains. Wherever you are, get to the mountains. Now, that was the order. Verse 29, here's your Black Lives Matter, your All Lives Matter, your marches, your voters, your protesters. We got to vote. Hands up, don't shoot. I can't breathe. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. This is what they do besides obeying the prophet that the Lord set up, which is Commander GEN.YAHANNA. Here is what happened, and here's what's going to happen to them. You understand? Lord willing, the Lord have mercy, these brothers and sisters come in. Here is the end result of not obeying the prophet the Lord set up. 29 says, then many that sought after justice, meaning they want justice, no peace, and judgment, they want to get judgment. They want to get judgment done, their way. They looking to the white man to be fair and honest and just and obey the laws and give them justice in their courts. They sought after justice and judgment. They went down into the wilderness to dwell there, meaning they left the cities. They say, we want to go back to Africa, man. We should go to Ghana. We should pack up and we should go to Ghana. You understand? We should go to Egypt. You understand? We should go back to the motherland. Or we should go to Israel. We should pack up and leave. We should go to Canada. We should go to Mexico. No justice, no peace. All lives matter. Hands up, don't shoot. We got to vote, y'all. We got to vote. You understand? All of that silliness. The white man passed a bill talking about stop Asian hate. He ain't passed a single bill talking about stop killing unarmed black men in traffic stops. Stop killing unarmed Hispanics while they at work. Stop kidnapping Native American sisters off of reservations and killing them and selling them into sex traffic. None of those laws got passed. The Asians are separate. They didn't march. They didn't vote. They didn't cry. They didn't pray. They didn't beg. The white man passed a bill to protect those Asians in no time. How many years blacks and Hispanics been getting beat, killed, shot, pepper sprayed, Karen, Ken, dogs sicked on them? You understand? All kind of horrible things. You still marching, voting, protesting, and begging. The Asians got a bill passed to protect them just like that. No bill to protect us yet. You understand? They killed 10 Asians at a carryout in a nail salon. The police then killed 4 black men within a week of each other. They killed Adam Toledo. They then shot up this brother that's about to die in Spotsylvania on life support. They killed the brother Junior in North Carolina. They protesting about now. They just finally sent that devil who killed George Floyd to jail. You understand? All of this going on at one time. 10 Asians died. America passed a bill just like that to protect them. They could give a damn about our people. Here's what the Lord wants. They went into the mountains to go and get judgment. I understand? Both they and their children and their wives and their cattle, because afflictions increased sore upon them. Meaning they didn't do this because that's what the Lord wanted. They did it because they were having a rough time. They weren't concerned with obeying the Lord. They don't want to obey the Lord with Black Lives Matter and hands up, don't shoot, all lives matter. They want to vote because they want to be homosexuals and lesbians with the LGBT movement. They want to be able to get high and smoke weed. They want to be able to have sex with other brothers' women. They want to be able to have abortions. They want to be able to integrate with white people and have interracial marriages. They want to be able to do everything the Lord said not to do. Eat pork and crab and shrimp and lobster. They want to be able to have their freedom and personal salvation. So they went their own way because life got hard. They didn't feel they needed to obey the prophet that the Lord set up. Verse 31 says, now when it was told to the king's servants and the host, the word host means army, that was in Jerusalem, in the city of David, that certain men who had broken the king's commandment were gone down into the secret place in the wilderness. What is the secret place? It's the wilderness. How did they know? They knew in the wilderness. Why didn't they go into the mountains with Mattathias? That's where the Lord told everybody to go, because they were accustomed to not obeying the prophet that the Lord set up. They were accustomed to living the way that they wanted. They didn't see the value in following the prophet of God, and it's getting ready to cost them. We're going to read it, wrap it up real quick. Verse 32, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. There's another thing. You fake Israelites and Christians believe that you just supposed to, sit in a room and stare at the wall on the Sabbath day. That's not biblical. You understand? That's not the law in the Bible. That's not biblical. None of that is what's in the Bible. You understand? They felt because it was the Sabbath day, they wasn't going to fight and defend themselves because they were good Christians. They had a Christian spirit on them not to obey Mattathias. They all had freedom and choice in their own personal beliefs, and their own personal beliefs taught them that they weren't supposed to defend themselves on the Sabbath day. And they said, they said unto them, let that which ye have done hitherto suffice. The Greeks told them, you did enough. You had your protest. You had your fun. Your protest is over. We get it. All lives matter. Everybody pack up and go home. This is now an unlawful assembly. Everybody go home. Come forth and do according to the king, to the commandment of the king, and you shall live. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. Now, all of a sudden, they care about the Sabbath day. They want to be righteous. But they didn't care about the law that said to obey the prophet God set up. In their mind, they're keeping the law. Make sure y'all see this. Let me know y'all see this. In their mind, they're keeping the law to themselves. They believe this. We obeying the Lord. We obeying the Sabbath. We ain't gonna eat no pork. But they missed one very important thing about the law that they didn't keep, and that was to obey the prophet that God set up. They didn't think it was important to follow Mattathias. That's why they went into the wilderness to get justice their own way. And they were separated from the protection of the Lord, just like every fake Israelite and every other brother and sister who don't believe they have to obey Commanding General Yahanna, because that's who the Lord set up. We're going to get some more. All right. But verse 37. Verse 30. Okay, Salakia. 35. So they gave them the battle with all speed. 36. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped the places where they laid hid. Meaning they didn't defend themselves, they didn't protect themselves, they didn't throw stones. Why weren't they able to defend and protect themselves? You know why? Because like fake Israelites and Christians see the I.S.U.P.K, they don't see the value of all that masculinity. They don't see the point of the spikes and the studs and the masculinity and the warlike apparel and the spirit of the Lord and being warriors and talking hard and rough and masculine and a warrior, having captains and generals and officers. They believe that they can just sing and march and cry and protest as long as they don't eat pork, as long as we obey the Sabbath. They believe that that is enough, and it is not enough. And here's what happened. They weren't defending themselves. You know why? They weren't able to defend themselves, not spiritually or physically, because they refused to obey the army that the Lord set up. They didn't go where the army was. They went their own way. They had a church home that set well with their spirit personally. They had their own personal beliefs, their own personal salvation. They were individuals. They sought justice their own way, and it got their heads split open. Them, their wives, their children, their babies, they all died because they did not obey the prophet the Lord set up. That's how important that scripture, Deuteronomy 18 and 15 and 18 and 18 is. You understand? We're going to finish it out. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone, nor stopped the places where they lay hid, but said, let us die in our innocency. Heaven and earth will testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully. Meaning you trying to get sympathy from the devil that the Bible speaks of, instead of obeying the prophet that God set up. Why? Because they had more in common with that devil than they did with their brother. Their lack of brotherhood, and which caused them to be disobedient to the prophet the Lord set up, God required that of them. They felt like they were right. God did not say they were right. They were wrong, and they died for it. They sinned against the Lord by breaking that commandment, and it cost them all their lives. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and their children. Meaning your wife, like you got a wife, I got a wife, everybody got a wife, their wives and your children. You got babies, you got sons, you got daughters, you got little ones, you got infants. They killed them, their wives, and their children, all of them, to the number of 1,000 people. They killed 1,000 babies, women, and children, and their cattle. They killed them all. Now, when Mattathias and his friends understood thereof, they mourned for them right sore. Meaning the men of the Lord would have saved their lives had they obeyed us. Had they come into the I.S.U.P.K, their lives could have been saved. They could have been under the protection from the army of the Lord, but they chose to go some other way. And that cost 1,000 brothers and sisters their lives, man. Christians and fake Israelites don't understand this. They don't have the spirit of the Lord. They don't have any brotherhood. You understand? And with that, we way over the time. The water for y'all sticking around with us. Be sure to pay your tithes, I.S.U.P.K.com. You can also pay on Zelle. We the I.S.U.P.K. Start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. Any brother wants to become a troop. When a brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 90 days. They're here to learn, off limits for 6 months. They're here to learn and shed themselves of the world. Tithes, which is a commandment, 10% of every penny of every increase that the Lord gives you, you pay to the school. Go right to ISUPK.com. You can pay your tithes there, right with your PayPal, right from your debit or credit card. Any brother wants to become a trooper in the school, y'all sign up, man. Y'all boot up, get in y'all all black, contact the school. You want to join this force to fix our people, to fix our nation, to save the lives of blacks and Hispanics. If you a man, black, Hispanic, Native American brother, you can become a trooper, an official member of the school there, be in your all black boot, shirt, pants, head scarf. Contact the school, 757-550-1204. You understand? Do your 90 days, earn your Hebrew name, you brothers and sisters, pay your tithes. All right. All right. Upcoming high holy days. We're in the middle of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Every day you should eat a little unleavened bread. You can make your own. Eat no yeast, no leaven. That's bread, hot dog runs, hamburger buns, bread, anything with yeast, leavening in it, baking soda. The easiest unleavened bread you can get is corn tortilla chips, plain corn tortillas. You understand? That's the easiest you can get if you cannot make your own. There are recipes up on Facebook, all right? Or the sisters going over how to make unleavened bread, all right? And with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, all right? And with that, shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatham, Yahweh Shemal Thun Ba Shem Yahweh Shah.